Hey guys, it's Nicole from Toujours, and today I'm excited to go over what happens to our macaron shells when we overmix or over macaronage our batter. So we're gonna take a closer look at what exactly it does to our shells and if it's really that important. So let's get started. Quick note, if you guys have watched my videos and you enjoy the channel, please like and subscribe. It helps immensely. Now let's get into over mixing our batter to see what happens to our macaron shells. So here I am making my regular recipe. If you have not seen my Macaron 101 video, I suggest you click above on the link, and that will give you a full tutorial of how to make macarons with the recipe in the description. Here I am starting my meringue, and I am whipping my egg whites up to a stiff peak. As soon as all my sugar is dissolved into the egg whites, that's when I add my color. Here I'm going to be using Red Rose Master Elites from the Sugar Art. I love powdered colors because they're super vibrant and you don't have to put too much in at once. If you're looking for new colorants for your macarons, I suggest the Sugar Art. You can use Toujours for 15% off your next purchase. So once I add in my color, I'm gonna just keep mixing and whipping those egg whites until we're at a nice stiff peak. At this point, it's time to add in our dries, our confectioner sugar and almond flour. I have already sifted this and I am putting it into my meringue, and just slowly add in and incorporate your dries without trying to really deflate your batter at this point. And then I'm moving forward with the deflating process. So here I'm pushing out the air that we just whipped into it to reach a flowing consistency of my batter. So I push out and then tumble my batter a bit as well, and I just keep doing that until I see the flow that I like to see off my spatula. So here, as you can see, it is still very thick. My batter is not ready. You can tell this by looking at the way it drops off my spatula. It's just one big clump. It's not flowing. It's very thick, and it keeps its shape in the bowl. We want it to be able to meld on top of itself when you look inside the bowl within 15 to 20 seconds. So I'm gonna keep going, macaronaging more, pressing the air out of the batter. And this is where I like to see my batter. It's nice and thick, it's flowing consistently off my spatula, but it's not flowing too fast. It still has a very nice thick feel to it, and it's gonna hold its shape after I pipe it, but just meld upon itself enough so that my tip goes down and I don't have a little nipple on top of my shell. This is the type of flow I look for with my batter and my recipe. If you're using a different recipe, please note that you will have a different flowing consistency depending on how much dries you have in relation to your meringue. So at this point, I'm putting a little bit of my batter into a piping bag fitted with a 6mm tip so I can pipe some heart macarons, just to show you guys this piped batter relative to mixing a little bit more and seeing how the shells compare. So once I get my batter into its piping bag, I'm gonna keep going with the remaining batter, pressing out more air, and I'm constantly checking the flow to see if I'm happy with how much I've mixed. Here it's flowing a lot faster, it's a lot thinner of a flow as well, and I'm satisfied with this mixing. I hope you can tell the difference of how this is flowing. It's just a lot faster and thinner of a batter. So I'm putting this batter into another piping bag fitted with a 10mm tip because I'm just gonna do some circles, so it's a regular size tip that I use. The other tip was smaller so I could do some smaller designs. So first, with my batter that I macaronaged to my regular consistency, I'm piping out the hearts. I'm piping on a macaron mat by the Flower Girl. You can check out her shop at shoptheflowergirl.com. Don't forget to use Toujours 15 to save 15%. As the heart macarons bake, I am piping with my overmixed batter. I was careful not to pipe my shells too big with my overmixed batter, because once you mix more, you could see that the flow was faster. So that also means that your macarons, once piped, are going to spread more. So I was very careful not to pipe too big, or else they would be very large macarons. And then as they rest, you can see how thin they lay. I usually prefer my batter to mound up on itself a little bit more, and these are definitely flat. You can tell it's mixed more than I prefer, but will that be a problem? Let's check it out. Once the heart shells came out of the oven, I was able to put my other macaron shells in, and at a quick glance, my heart macarons turned out gorgeous. They had clean feet, sturdy tops, and I was very happy with the turnout of the hearts. After I baked my second tray, I brought them out, and right away you can see the feet are a little bit ruffled, not as clean, but they don't look too bad. But let's take a closer look. Once they cooled, I did the tap test and took them off my mat, and as you can see, they are completely fragile. They have sticky bottoms, and they are a mess. They are not worth filling. So both batches are from the same meringue and started out with the same batter, but the second bake was just mixed more. So there's lots of things that can go wrong if you overmix your batter. If your batter starts to get really flowy and fast, you know, oh crud, you've taken it a little too far. And sadly, there's nothing you can do once you've taken it too far, except for pray to the macaron gods that they will still turn out. So let's recap what happens to your shelves when you overmix your batter. So you can get fragile tops, ruffled, not clean looking feet. And that's not to say ruffled feet are bad. Some ovens just ruffle your feet no matter what. But for this silicone mat in my oven, that's not usual. So I know that there's an issue right away when I see a ruffled foot. So, ruffled foot, fragile tops, oily spots on the top of your macarons, sticky bottoms, and we didn't see it here, but you can also get cracked tops really easily because you're overworking your batter and it starts to break down and it doesn't hold in the steam well when rising up, and instead it cracks. So that's another issue you can have when overmixing your batter. So with all those things that can go wrong, I'd say it's detrimental to your macaron shells to overmix your batter. Now, if you are having a really difficult time figuring out where to stop with your batter, I would suggest even making a small batch of macarons, splitting the batter, and working each bit a little bit more to see what consistency is best for your recipe, because every recipe will be different, as I said before. And then pipe out each batter and see which results work best in your environment. I hope this visual helped you guys see what is going on with our macarons when we overmix our batter, and I hope it helps you troubleshoot your macaron issues in the future. Again, please like and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and I wish you the best of days and happy macaron making.